Is 50 too old to get into the tech industry? I'm going to hopefully try to convince you that it's not, and hopefully you'll learn some counterintuitive things when you pay attention to this video and you follow along through this video. I am going to argue that, in fact, it's the young people that actually have a disadvantage, not you. That if you are in your 40s, 50s, even 70s of trying to get into the tech industry, it's actually the young people that have a disadvantage against you. And I want you to think about that. So one of the things, so by the way, I'm a professor of innovation, and I try to convince people to do things that they're scared of doing all of the time on the Reciprocity Project, particularly within the academic research game. So one of the things that you'll realize is that as you get older, you learn what you like and you don't like. And one of the things when you're younger, you are told to go into particular industries and you just kind of blindly listen to go into those particular industries. So many of the good students will go into the tech industry, and just like many of other people will go into nursing, for example, because it's a good job. And that is their particular domain because it's a rational thing to actually do. But as you're older, particularly those that already have a career, you realize what you like and what you don't like. And one of the things that you can rationally do is think through all of the things that you really like in your past life and what you actually want to do. And one of the cool things with the tech industry that I really like, and particularly sort of creating things that I really like, I'm trying to create the Reciprocity platform, is that it's a creative endeavor. You make it up as you go, right? So if there's key things that you like to do, you can choose to do those particular things and just apply it within that particular industry. Now, how do you actually do that, right? What are the things that you like to do? You like to sing? Well, there's lots of people that are trying to figure out how to apply the joy of singing into the tech industry. So how do you do that? Well, it's easy, right? You pick that thing that you want to do, that you want to solve, and then you go through and you list out what are the key things that actually apply. And this requires you to actually just get a piece of paper and write down what are the things that actually apply to the tech industry. And a lot of people, it's hard for us to think about different things in different areas, but often these skill sets are very transferable. And what you need to do is just take a couple of certifications in a particular area, and all of a sudden you're like a tech guru in this area, right? So you are a musician, and you want to learn about the tech industry and how to apply music in the tech industry. That's really easy. You just start taking a few certification courses. Like there's these things like AWS, Amazon Web Services. There's certifications for that. Google's got certifications. You know, these large tech companies have these certifications that are really easy to do. They take a couple of nights, maybe it's 5 nights in a row, and you start getting these certifications that are done and added up, and all of a sudden you can easily make this transition to something that is more real. Now that's just getting into a basic, easy tech industry job. What about tech startups, right? That's the thing that's really cool, is that because it's a creative endeavor, you can make it up as you go. And you could figure out, oh, this is how people actually behave in real life. This is the one thing that, younger folks don't really understand, is that there is a lot of real life things that happens, and you can apply it to create something that you've always wanted to do. And it just requires you to do a small tweak in terms of how you're thinking about it. It's actually super easy, right? All you need to do is whatever domain that you're looking at, right? So maybe you are an artist. You just say, I'm a tech artist, right? You just add that on there, and then you figure out, how do I actually do this? Or I want to create a tech startup in art. Well, then you slowly go through and figure out how to do this. Now, the key or the hard part is to actually keep continuously applying that. And that's hopefully what the whole Reciprocity Project is. So you could start seeing, yeah, you do have to continuously apply yourself repeatedly over and over and over again. There's two things that you need to do. You need to actually build the damn thing, right? So I have a development team that's actually building the platform for me because it's really hard for me to do this and work in a full-time job as a professor at the same time. But then I also have to get the message out, right? And so that's why I'm here every day teaching you and telling you and coaching you through of getting to where you need to go to. So for you, then you start seeing, oh, it is an everyday thing. It's not something that I just do once. It's not something I just get one certification or do one thing, but it's this repetition of going through. And it's also the repetition when you don't feel good about it, right? So this is the key thing that you're going to learn. You're going to get into it. You're going to hate it because you think it is something different in your mind. But here's the thing, for you to get from here to there, you need to go through all those steps of where you actually hate it. It's like when you climb a mountain. I like that analogy because it's easy for us to imagine. Climbing a mountain sucks. Man, there is so many pitfalls that you go through. It's hard, it's grueling, nobody likes to do it. But as you do it, you do those little steps along the way, you actually start learning how to do it. And it does get a little better, just a little bit, because you get used to the pain, right? You actually start feeling, oh yeah, okay, I could do this. I could repeatedly do this day in and day out. I'm just looking, there's ants. Every once in a while, an ant bites me. So you just deal with the sort of pain of doing this, and you repeatedly do this over and over and over again. And that's where I want you to get from here of having this dream. I want to get into the tech industry, and I'm old, right? To there, I'm actually in the tech industry. And so for many of us, that requires just doing some certifications, easy enough to do, right? And you could do that. Many of us want to make a bigger leap and create something. Well, the creating something requires you to dedicate a whole bunch of time and effort. But realize it's a journey. It's a fun thing to do that, to create that thing. And I think everybody can do this. I don't think it's unique to one individual or, you're just out of school. One of the things that's important that people that are just out of school just really don't get is that life is important, right? You have obligations, you have all these kind of things. Well, imagine if you are the person that actually builds this or talks about this or thinks about this, that, hey, family is important, you know? Hey, getting a little bit of time off, doing those kind of things are really important. When you're in your 20s, you think you can work endlessly and you could do 90-hour weeks, and that's a really important, good thing to do, and you destroy your family and friends at the same time. Many of us that have a little bit of life experience, we realize, oh, there's many things that are going on in life. Well, that's a missing component that's often just not discussed within the business world. It's often not discussed within all particular domains. And without that life experience, you're never going to actually see this, right? So you could be the person that actually does that and fills in those gaps, right? All of those things are really, really important. Like burnout, for example. Many of you are probably thinking of going in the tech industry because you have burnout, right? Like, or you feel like you're getting burnt out in whatever domain. And so you want to go and transition. Well, do something about that. Actually think about that. Maybe something tragic happened in your life, or maybe something euphoric happened in your life. Do something about that. All of these experiences, I want you to think back. There's sort of two ways to rationally think about what you want to do besides going in the tech industry, right? Three ways, right? You find out what's passionate for you. Many of us don't know what our passions are. Well, that's easy to actually discover. This is the second way. Go through all of your expenses of what you pay for and actually buy on a regular basis, what you actually enjoy, right? Like you like wine, well, then you become a wine tech person. I don't know what the heck that is, but that's what you do, right? So, and then the last one is you think back at all these memories that you have. What are your key memories that you like to think about? And then you engage with those key memories. Why was that remarkable? those are human experiences that are often missing within the tech industry. And that's where you need to actually talk about them and come into them. It's that good stuff that's missing. One of the most real, so I think this is interesting. One of a very successful software platform is Farm Simulator. I would never have guessed that, right? Like, farmers love their kids to play the Farm Simulator because they do all this kind of stuff on there and learn about real life. You're not going to get that unless you have a real life experience. You're not going to create that until you have that real life experience. And that is often what's missing. You need to get that 20 years of experience before you realize, oh, there's these missing components, right? 20 years of farming experience is going to realize that you can actually build this thing. And that's actually important to, building the farm that you actually want and making sure that you have longevity in the farm. So I want you to think about these things. What is important about you as an individual after you've grown, and then you can get into the tech industry. And that's a cool thing that's often missing from those that are a little younger. And it's just because, and it's no fault on their own at all. It's just because they haven't lived life. They don't have quite the same bumps and all those things that you have. And that just comes with experience. And that's the important thing I want you to think about. How can you leverage your experience, your real life stuff, so you can turn it into something else? And it's going to require you to continuously work at it for a long time and make these transitions as you go. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not something that happens in 5 years, all of a sudden something miraculous happens. No, it might take you 10 years. But guess what's going to happen at that 10 years? You're going to be doing something that you love to do, and you're going to continue on within that particular domain. All right, hopefully I convinced you. If not, no worries. Just follow along with the reciprocity project. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.